of Kenya, and I take the country. I have made the kind of collaboration step back to be.
It's that 2 years ago you ran the lines. We sit here today. How did we get here? What happened here? And one would have expected an earth-shaking statement tonight that tells the country, I get it, something has shifted.
At a difficult time. Yeah. Because it's not right to be the economy of Kenya. We have a whole housing program that is for teachers. Have reduced the cost of living. I am in business, Kenya.
Some of who have delivered. Hashtag root.
Good friends, the young people of our nation, my sons and daughters who supported me to win the election. I hear you. In fact, I think it was little did his colleagues around our village are actually part of my plan on export of labor. They have actually, I intentionally supported them to leave the country because we got them jobs outside Kenya. So I am telling the young people of our nation to be patient. Our housing program is rolling. We will be hiring more architects. We will be hiring more engineers. We will be hiring more professionals to support our housing program. In the next 2 years, we will have 300, maybe 1,000 people working in that space. Be patient. We are sorting out the challenges that are facing our digital space. We're rolling out our digital space. Young guys, by the end of next year, God willing, we will have a digital hub in every ward in Kenya because we have already started that process. Every TVET in Kenya today has an ICT hub with young people monetizing their talent. I want to tell them we are full speed into manufacturing. That is why we're saying we're no longer importing clinker, we're no longer importing steel, we're no longer importing clinker, we are no longer importing furniture. We are going to stop importing eggs. We're going to stop importing onions and all this because we want to promote our local manufacturing to be able to create jobs for them. We are no longer going to be importing diapers or sanitary pads from other countries. They are going to be manufactured here.
Mr. President,
I have worked with the industries to make sure that we create opportunities for these young people. We're going to work with them to deal with the challenge of corruption. We're going to work with them to cut down on government like this. I am going to make sure that we have a lean government that responds to the reality of where we are as a country. That is what I am telling my good young people.
The young people. There's another group of young people. Please speak to them directly.
Yes.
The young doctors who are in university graduating this year,
yes,
who are going to look for internship
Correct.
in the next year. The young JS teachers who were on strike a couple of weeks ago, who are expecting to be absorbed into full permanent and pensionable contracts
Correct.
this year. The young clinical officers during COVID and other programs that are just contracts, and contracts are coming to an end.
I am
telling
the JSS teachers, I had factored in 18 billion shillings in this year's finance bill to be able to transfer them to permanent and pensionable. Because in my phone, so many of them have asked me, Mr. President, we will move to permanent and pensionable. Although I don't have the finance bill, I want to tell them, give me a bit of time, let me figure this out, how we are going to do it, without we can be able to sort them out, especially the intern doctors and those who we intended to hire to under our UHC program. I had put 10 billion shillings on the UHC program under the finance bill. That is now not in the equation. I have to figure out, let them just give me, I made a commitment to them that we will do this. So even in the absence of the finance bill, and even as we cut down on expenditure on many other areas, it is still my commitment that we will see what to do with them so that the job they are doing in teaching our children, in treating our people, do not go to waste.
Mr. President, we're almost winding down this, but have you noticed that those young people, they actually have worked to have this elaborate plan, and I'm wondering where their views will fit in, because you seem to have this all worked out. But they probably don't want all those things.
That is why
they have figured out.
That is why, you know, part of what I told you, Joe, is, and I am ready to go to this X place, how I can make this better. Tell that don't hire CA and the spouse of the second. They have, of course, said some of the things, abolish the office of women rep. I've seen they have also said we should reduce the salaries of MPs to 200,000 or some. Need to do a whole of society, a whole of nation approach, so that if we are bringing down salaries from 1.1 trillion to 700 billion, that is something I am willing, and I am ready to start with my own salary, going down to salaries of others, so that we can all live within our means.
Your Excellency, be about the protests and the deployment of KDF, which you did a few days ago. Now, the Gen Z, millennials, and the online Kenyans that are organized, what should we expect on Tuesday when protesters, peaceful as some of them have been, the Kenya...
They only come as a last resort. If the demonstrations will be peaceful, I promise you, the police will be there. But the criminals, the fellows who come to burn offices, the fellows who come to loot property, will also be dealt with. That is my commitment. We must all operate within the law.
Candidate William Ruto responded to the public debt. President William Ruto last year responded to the same question and said it's important for us to audit our public debt. Today's question is when? Public debt is actually a public document where we are as a country. The 10-point-something trillion of our debt is in the public domain. But I am prepared for us to put in forensic experts as part of this exercise so that we can all appreciate, yes, this is what we owe, and then agree, how do we pay? How do we deal with it? In fact, I was in Korea. In fact, Korea, when they had a problem of debt, the whole nation came together. And people contributed gold. Others contributed many things because they wanted to pay their national debt. Maybe we will need that conversation once we are all clear that this is public debt. My question, Mr. President, is when?
As soon as we finish this conversation, once we have agreed that this is the way we are going, I will institute the necessary steps to make sure that that debt is audited and it is made public for Kenyans to know this is the public debt. And I'm sure it will not take a month for us to be able to know, what is Kenya's public debt? And then we can take it up from there and go forward.
Mr. President, my final question is about your cabinet. Given the things that have happened, given the questions that have been raised about fertilizer, about edible oils, about sugar and all of that, tonight, can you look Kenyans in the eye and tell them you have full confidence in the cabinet that is currently helping you to run the country?
The cabinet that I have maybe could have done better.
That's not the question, Mr. President.
Maybe could have done better. I'm answering your question.
Okay.
Yeah? Maybe, unless you have a better answer. Allow me to answer.
No, I just thought my question was specific, but you can
that's
go
what
ahead.
I'm saying. So, maybe my cabinet would have done better, right? And I am going to do a soul searching on how we need to move forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where we end this conversation with the President tonight. My colleagues have been Lena Skaikai from Citizen TV, Royal Media Services, and Eric Latif representing KTN News from the Standard Media Group. And my name is Joe Ageyo from NTV. Do have a lovely evening.